You're tuned into the stellar award-winning internet radio station.
You're at the right place at the right time.
Yes, Lord Radio.
Hold up. Wait just a minute. It's Roz on your radio. Yo.
Keep it locked right here.
Showcase, fellowship, inspire. Showcase.
Hey, it's Roz on the radio.
Showcase, fellowship, inspire.
Yes, Lord. Radio.
Now it's time for another Yes Lord Radio exclusive.
Hey everybody, it's Roz on the radio, and you're listening to another YLR exclusive. My guest today is Tye Tribbett, who's sharing his latest single and more with us today. But first, Tye, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And thanks again for all the love y'all always give me. I see it all the time, and I'm just really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. It is my pleasure on behalf of everybody. But let me just say this now. We have been following you for so long. We love your music. We've just loved what you've been able to do with gospel music. Tell us about that transition to EMI.
It was a long time in the making because I was off of Sony for a little while, so I was just trying to think where I could go, where I could land, and I knew I wanted to have my own label type situation. Whoever I connected with, I wanted to have my own. So EMI was down with the idea. They said we'll partner with Kingdom Music, and we did the deal earlier this year. So I'm grateful.
Wonderful. Now, people are just absolutely on fire about Same God. I love it, but people are going crazy about it. And I see the response on your Twitter page, and people are chanting on there, you know, if he did it before, he can do it again. And I can think about tons of times when I needed to say that chant. I needed to hear that chant, and I said it to myself. But most people, they can also think about that time when they said, you know, the same thing. If you did it then, you can do it now. But as this song was written, whether you wrote it or not, for you, what was that then or that before?
I did write it, and it's always a before. It is a then. It's always that. I don't know if it could be for some, it could be like, I know a lot of people who have cancer now, right? And I'm like, man, I always think about David. I always say it's like David's, blah, blah, blah. Like David's, when he fought Goliath, you know, he said, listen, man, I fought a bear and a lion, even though this situation is different and it's bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've never faced it before. He's the same God that can give me victory over it. So I'm like, man, I know you have cancer now, but have you ever had a cold? Have you ever had the flu? I know that seems smaller, but he's the same God that can heal you. So that everyone can find that in their life, and everyone can share this testimony. Which is why I think it's going so crazy right now, because everybody can relate to it, and everybody has a win.
They absolutely can. What are you thinking about when you're saying to yourself, you know, if he did it then or if he did it before, he can do it now?
What was I thinking about, or what am I thinking about now? Right now,
what do you think about?
Encouraging the people.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about encouraging the people at this point. I mean, I'm thinking about, you know, just lifting everybody's spirits. I know there's a lot of stress going on, like depression. I mean, just life.
Yeah.
Just the presence of life, whether it's bills, whether it's relational or emotional. This is not the first time we've encountered a storm or a situation like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he brought us out before, he can do it again. I think we live our lives from storm to storm, from problem to problem. And we don't realize that if you go from one problem to another, in between there is victory. In between there, you get over it. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to focus on the in-betweens instead of just storm to storm to storm to storm.
Yeah.
In between the storms, there is a sunshine. I want to focus on that.
That's good. Now, several years ago, you mentioned having to deal with a pretty traumatic time in your life and how God still gave you instruction for you to cleanse yourself of anything that could remotely not represent him. Those were your words for the most part. But what I find so interesting is not that God would still require something from you, because I believe, you know, even when we get off course or whatever happens in our life, in any situation, he's still saying, okay, hey, wait a minute, you know, I got something else I need you to do. What was interesting to me was that challenge, that how you challenged yourself and how you challenged your group to forego any revenue from secular music for a period of time and rely solely on the Lord to provide. First of all, tell us about that, because I can't imagine the looks that you received after that decision, but tell us a little about that.
Well, I felt kind of responsible for most of them because I exposed most of them to that lifestyle and that, not the lifestyle, but the job, quote unquote. So I felt like kind of responsible, you know what I mean? Because, but not in a bad way. Like we did the Prince of Egypt soundtrack, and from that we got a lot of offers to do like background for Faith Hill, da 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 da.
Yeah.
So it kind of snowballed from there. And we're being in the Philly area. You know, you just Will Smith is there, the Roots is there, Jill Scott is there. It's just you're just there. You know what I mean? So. So when it came time, when I felt like it was like, okay, it was kind of becoming compromising, I'll say. Mm-hmm. It was getting to that point where, okay, we're going to make a decision. The Lord just kind of said, listen, trust me for 1 year. And he said, just come out of all secular music for 1 year. Just trust me for a year. So I said, all right, guys, the Lord, like Moses, like, the Lord has told me to tell you all. But I didn't make anybody do anything. Yeah, I didn't make anybody do anything. And half of them immediately came with me, and the other half, didn't. And some still have it, and they're not sinners, and they're not going to hell. But what God challenged me to do, I did it. And when I did do that, I came out for a year. And that's the year that Victory came out, and I never had to go back.
Wow. What did you learn from that?
Well, I learned a lot. I was grateful for my experiences in mainstream. I was very, very grateful for that because it opened me up in ministry. It opened my eye. Like, whoa, there's more people to minister to than in the four walls of my church. You know what I mean? So it opened me up. So I'm grateful for that experience. However, coming out and trusting God was like me. That was my Peter walking on the water moment. Like, okay, I developed a lifestyle from this revenue. I've developed, just a pattern of how I'm making money, and relationships. It wasn't just money. I had good relationships with certain people. So to come out of that, I was like, Lord, I trust you. And what did I learn from that? I learned really, like, okay, to trust the voice of God. Like, that's it. Just trust it. You may not see any clue of what he's doing or what direction he's taking. You might not see, no clue.
Yeah.
But just do it. Like he told Moses, hey, lift up your rod. Moses didn't know that the Red Sea was going to part, and he didn't know. He had no clue, but he just did what God said, no matter how crazy it was. So I just feel like no matter how crazy it feels or seems, just do it. Do what he says, and he knows best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. The crazy thing about it is there are some people right now that are probably saying, I don't think I would have gave up my money. I probably would have just went with, God, made a way for me to get here and to get to this money and, all of that. But yeah. I'm pretty sure that you knew, when it was time to pull back. But it just makes me think about the people out there that are like, okay, that is, that's a heck of obedience, right there. It is,
I'm not always like that, people. I want everybody to know that. I'm not always, okay, yes, Lord, I'm doing it. I'm out. No. Sometimes I'm like, what? No.
Yeah.
Let me make sure this is him. Let me stay here for 2 more years. Make sure it's really, really, really him. You know what I mean? So, but,
yeah.
I'm glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it.
Awesome.
And he honored it. He honored it and provided.
Well, that's very encouraging because people, they don't want to. They might step out, for a couple of days, but a year is a pretty good commitment, and I'm sure some people probably have had to go longer than that. But just to commit to that and to actually be able to do that is encouraging to people.
Oh my Lord, it's hard. I always say doing things God's way is not always easier, but it's always better. And I always say that because it's true.
Yeah.
I think we expect if this God is going to be easy, it's going to flow. It's going to be sometimes it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. Your emotions going to be jacked up. Your mind going to be going crazy. But your heart must continue to trust. And when you do that, he honors that.
Let's talk about the CD project. It's titled Greater Than, and it's scheduled for release this summer. But for our listeners that are waiting, we are on the edge of our seats listening to Same God. Tell us what we can expect from this project.
Energy, excitement, fun. Worship, anointing. It's kind of like a victory to the next level, honestly. It's everything. It's a live project again, so I was very excited to do another live project. So all the energy, all the excitement, all the creative musicality, I guess you can call it, and the worship and the conviction, all of that is in there, man. I feel like we captured lightning in the bottle again, and I'm grateful.
Awesome. Now, who are you working with on this project?
I want to say for sure, but I'm really not sure. But I think it's Bacardi, Molly Music, and Donnie McClurkin on the 3.
And so that's gonna be this summer.
Yes, that'll be June the 4th. That's the date, June the 4th.
Awesome.
Yes. The single will be available actually March the 26th. It will be available. Yeah, it's released to radio now, but it's not on iTunes yet.
You know, again, that song, it's going to be those type of, like the Luther Vandross songs that are just still relevant like 50 years from now. I am in love with Same God. I do. I love it. I love it. It really, what type of response have you received from other people besides me?
Oh, no, it's been the same, actually. It's been the same. Everyone has been very receptive and like, yeah, this song, da-da-da-da-da. And I think more so, again, than the music, I think it's the message. I think everybody needs to hear it, and then how it's packaged and how it's presented. You know, people love the energy and the beat and da-da-da-da and the melody, but the message really is what's sticking with everybody. So everybody pretty much has the same response, and I'm like overwhelmed. Like, yes!
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really exciting.
Before we get out of here, I love your da-da-da-das.
I'm so sorry about that. I know that's not the most professional.
No, it's great. I love it. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here, but before we do, of course, we're gonna take a listen to Same God. I want to hear from you guys. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Hit me up on Facebook.com, Twitter.com/Roz on the Radio. Also, visit me at RozOnTheRadio.com for the recap of this show. And Tye, how can everybody stay connected to you?
Twitter, Tye Tribbett. Facebook, Tye Tribbett. Social game, Tye Tribbett. Instagram, both Tye Tribbett. Gotcha. And the internet, my website is Tye Tribbett Worldwide. Go there so you can get all the info as to, you know, the CD and the tours and all that stuff.
And the family is on there too. You guys are eating some type of hibachi, making everybody hungry.
Yeah, you know how we do. Oh, I didn't mean to make you hungry. I'm sorry about that. We were just eating, that's all. So y'all go check us out.
I love it. Well, anyway, guys, we gotta go. But here's Tye Tribbett with "If He Did It Before." Same God. Thanks, guys.
If he did